What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with yet another update of some folks that are working on bringing high school football in its entirety to the football gaming community, man. Just if y'all been paying attention on Twitter or in the Discord, then the guys over at Varsity Football, they have just released their development update to the public for the month of August here in 2022. So wanted to bring that guys to your attention, as well as what are my personal thoughts on it. So if you're excited about this little update on Varsity Football, do me a favor, smack that like button for me. And if you really like my analysis as well as enjoy football gaming content, definitely encourage you to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell as well. But yeah, man, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it, starting with the first part of this development update. We got probably the biggest thing for me here in this particular development update. We have the customizable stadiums, talking about how there is a vast difference between, a football powerhouse that, has this expectations to go deep in the state playoffs, as there is with, frankly, some high schools that do have high school football teams but have a really hard time fielding a full squad, if that makes sense to you guys. So there's a vast difference in that, and that's reflected in the stadium. Smaller teams are going to have smaller stadiums, and the biggest programs are going to have bigger stadiums. But here's the coolest thing about it, right? So as your campus or as your team becomes better, and as well as they become a more established high school football program, you will have the ability to upgrade your stadium in varsity football. We're talking about including scoreboards, uprights, improvements to the bleachers and press boxes. The stadium is going to become our personal canvas, and we'll be able to upgrade it as we see fit, as we are working up the ways, not only as a school but as maybe a coach ourselves. So really love to see that. I think that's really realistic, because teams that end up sending high school players going to the NFL and they decide to donate back to the high school, that's a really big deal. And that's a really important thing, for someone that's looking to transfer somewhere else. That kind of stuff matters. So I really love that they had the customizable aspect, not only from what we already seen from individual players as well as individual teams in your universe, but to see that also emulated in the stadiums and be able to customize that as well, really give us that sandbox environment. I think that's really cool, and I think that's going to be a massive hit if it is implemented correctly. That's going to be the biggest thing. But another thing that I did want to talk about as well is the physics engine. They have begun implementing physics that blends between realistic animations as well as generating hand and arm placement and ragdoll physics depending on force. So this is something that I was really talking about in terms of, if I was building a football game from the ground up, one of the things I really wanted to see from a gameplay perspective is have that perfect blend of physics and animations in your football video game, right? Because I do think in some circumstances, I do think animations do matter, but there shouldn't be an over-reliance on those animations, right? If that makes sense. Like, the person should interact with the ball, if that makes any sense whatsoever, right? And I think that's really good to see that physics are going to be implemented so that the ball is going to feel its own thing, and the person is going to feel its own entity, and how you attack people from certain angles, that stuff matters. So really love the physics engines, as well as their plan to work on that implementation of having that blend between having animations as well as those physics in the game. Now, speaking of that gameplay, I know that we were talking about that, but they are working on the early stages of gameplay as well. They have involved their gameplay prototype to full 11-on-11 gameplay with downs. It is still in a pretty raw stage as of right now. They still are working on implementing the full playbooks, but it is another milestone. It shows that they are really making good progress. The fact that they already are starting to really hone in on that gameplay, and that's really important considering that was a downfall for Maximum Football, is that, you know, people just were not enjoying the gameplay. I mean, the concept was there, and I really loved the sandbox, but from a gameplay perspective, I mean, the replayability wasn't necessarily there, and having an improved gameplay, you know, where people are going to come around, and especially for the first installation of this particular game, having that in the first title, show that there is a good foundation, and then build off of that foundation. That is amazing, and I'm glad that they are really working extremely hard in order to make sure that they're going to get this gameplay right. They're going to take their time with it. And finally, the last thing that they mentioned in the varsity football development update, in the month of August, we have the full team generation. They are now generating full teams, and here's the cool thing: individual archetypes, ratings, and appearances for players, parents, and coaching staff. So every team is going to feel just a little bit different. Of course, that's also going to depend a little bit on, you know, how big or how small the school is. So just a little finite details like that they're working on, as well as really populating this varsity universe. The fact that they're already starting to work on that generation, whatever they end up using as their methodology, I think it shows some really good progress. And I personally can't wait for this game. I know it will most likely not come out this year, unfortunately, but we're talking about a really good year in 2023 potentially. If it does end up coming out in 2023, we're talking about, you know, ACSA football coming out, Maximum Football's making its return, EA College Football, that's going to be making its first release in the summer of 2023. So from a football gaming standpoint, especially if you like high school and college football, I think we're going to be in for a really good year. But guys, those are my personal thoughts on the development update for varsity football. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and you enjoy my analysis, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, as well as that does help me out with the YouTube algorithm, so that this high school football game, this does reach more people as a result of that. So it really helps a brother out if you really enjoyed this video. And of course, if you're brand new and you enjoy my football analysis, and also enjoy football gaming in general, I don't just talk about these indie football games. I have my own original gaming series here on the channel as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. But with all that being said, I am going to go ahead and sign off for now. But I hope you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.